In the vast reaches of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire had established its dominance over countless star systems, wielding its advanced technology and massive fleets like a sledgehammer. With a reputation built on fear and suppression, they viewed themselves as the apex predators of the cosmos. Planets fell beneath their might, alien species trembled at the very mention of their name, and countless civilizations were extinguished in the blink of an eye. Their conquests were swift, leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. Amid this reign of terror, scouts on the fringes of the Empire's territory reported back with astonishing findings. A small solar system, situated on the edge of known space, was home to a species called humans. According to the scouting reports, these creatures inhabited a planet called Earth, where they had barely scratched the surface of space exploration. Their technology was described as primitive, clunky ships that barely made it past their atmosphere. The Empire's commanders scoffed at the idea of such a lowly species posing any threat. Confident in their superiority, the Empire convened in a high command meeting to discuss the impending conquest of Earth. Generals and admirals exchanged smug glances, their laughter filling the grand chamber as they anticipated the easy victory that lay ahead. "This will be like taking candy from a baby," one commander chuckled, patting his fellow officer on the back. The room echoed with bravado as they dismissed the humans as mere insects to be crushed underfoot. The Empire's scouts had done their job well. Their reports painted a picture of an easy target ripe for the taking. Plans were quickly set into motion. The Empire dispatched a formidable fleet, replete with the most advanced warships and battle-hardened soldiers. They felt invincible, ready to add another star system to their expanding domain. The fleet, composed of colossal ships armed with devastating weaponry, surged forth toward Earth, a dark wave of impending doom. There was no doubt in their minds. Within days, the planet would be theirs, and the humans would either bow to their will or face obliteration. As the fleet cruised through the cosmos, the inhabitants of Earth were blissfully unaware of the impending danger. They were engaged in their daily lives, exploring their own technological advancements, but remaining completely oblivious to the vastness of the universe beyond their atmosphere. However, unbeknownst to the Empire, humanity had been preparing for such a day for years, quietly developing technology that surpassed even the Empire's wildest dreams. In hidden facilities, Earth scientists had cracked the mysteries of space travel, developing warp drives and energy shields that could withstand powerful attacks. They had carefully observed the movements of the Galactic Empire from a distance, taking notes on their tactics, weaknesses, and advanced technologies. Humanity was not as naive as the Empire had presumed. They had kept their advancements under wraps, waiting for the opportune moment to reveal their strength. When the Imperial fleet finally reached Earth, they initiated contact by broadcasting a demand for immediate surrender. The message crackled through the human communication systems, filled with arrogance and superiority. "This is your only chance to submit peacefully, or face utter annihilation," the commanding officer of the Imperial fleet declared, his voice dripping with contempt. The humans, however, received the message not with fear, but with laughter. They couldn't help but find humor in the Empire's hubris. Leaders of Earth convened in an emergency meeting, but rather than panic, they were filled with a sense of amusement. They had expected this moment for a long time. A representative, wearing a wry smile, responded to the Empire's ultimatum with a chuckle, saying, "Are you sure about this? Because we've been preparing for a long time." The Empire's commander, stunned by the dismissive tone, assumed it was merely a bluff. Yet the laughter continued, resonating through the comms as the humans dared to mock the Imperial might. As the Empire's fleet loomed large, ready to unleash its arsenal, the human forces prepared for the inevitable confrontation. They activated their hidden technology, revealing ships that, while appearing archaic to the untrained eye, were equipped with cutting-edge capabilities. Energy shields hummed to life, warp drives engaged, and communication lines buzzed with excitement. The human fleet, once thought to be a trivial threat, was now poised to demonstrate their true potential. When the Empire opened fire, they expected to see their powerful lasers slice through human ships like a hot knife through butter. Instead, they were met with an astonishing sight. The energy beams collided harmlessly against the human shields, dissipating into nothing. Confusion spread through the Imperial ranks, their smug confidence beginning to falter. The humans were not merely standing their ground, they were ready to fight back. As the Empire scrambled to understand what was happening, humanity seized the moment to counterattack. Their ships, agile and nimble, darted around the massive Imperial vessels, avoiding fire while launching precision strikes. They targeted key systems, engines, weaponry, and shields, systematically dismantling the Empire's forces without destroying them outright. The humans wanted their message to be clear: they would not be subdued easily. The Empire's officers watched in disbelief as their once mighty fleet found itself outmaneuvered and outmatched. They had underestimated the humans and their capabilities, and now they were facing the consequences. As the humans continued to rain down fire on the Imperial ships, the laughter from Earth echoed through the comms, a relentless reminder of their folly. "Welcome to Earth! Hope you packed a lunch, this might take a while," they taunted, amplifying their mockery as the tide of battle shifted. The shock and confusion among the Imperial forces reached a breaking point. Panic set in as their confidence crumbled beneath the weight of reality. How could this be happening? They were the Galactic Empire, a name that instilled fear across the galaxy. Yet here they were, facing a species they had dismissed as insignificant, being dismantled piece by human ingenuity and clever tactics. As the first skirmishes turned into full-blown battles, it became apparent that the Empire was ill-equipped to deal with this unexpected foe. The arrogance that had defined their conquests was now their greatest weakness. The human ships, which had seemed so laughable in their design, were proving to be a serious challenge. The Empire's commanders scrambled to regroup their forces, but their once cohesive fleet was now scattered and vulnerable. The stage was set for a confrontation that would rewrite the history of the galaxy. The Galactic Empire, long feared and respected, had underestimated the resolve of humanity. Instead of succumbing to fear, humans rallied together, prepared to fight for their planet and their freedom. With laughter echoing through the void of space, the Galactic Empire was about to learn a valuable lesson: never underestimate the resilience and ingenuity of humanity. Humanity had long anticipated the arrival of extraterrestrial forces, and the day had finally come. As the Galactic Empire's fleet descended upon Earth, the hidden strength of humanity began to reveal itself. Behind the facade of primitive technology lay a wealth of advanced capabilities. Years of secret research and development had allowed humans to innovate beyond their apparent limitations. They had constructed ships that, while seemingly outdated in design, housed cutting-edge technology that could rival the Empire's best. When the Imperial fleet sent their ultimatum for surrender, Earth's leaders chuckled at the absurdity of the situation. Instead of cowering in fear, they prepared a response that would showcase their resolve. The representative who responded was unflinching, exuding confidence as he relayed the message back to the Empire. "You've got the wrong address if you're looking for easy prey." The laughter of Earth's leaders filled the comms, echoing through the vastness of space and rattling the Empire's confidence. As the Imperial fleet prepared for their initial assault, the humans activated their systems. Energy shields glowed to life, protective barriers ready to absorb the incoming onslaught. Meanwhile, the human ships lined up, engines humming with power. The humans had developed their own form of advanced propulsion, allowing them to move swiftly and unpredictably. As the Empire unleashed their first barrage of weapons, the human ships remained resolute, their shields absorbing the energy blasts without faltering. The Empire's disbelief quickly transformed into confusion as their calculations for victory failed to materialize. Their ships were equipped with the most destructive weaponry known, but it was no match for the human ingenuity at play. The humans had spent years studying the Empire's tactics and technology, preparing for this very moment. The response from Earth was not one of submission but defiance, and it caught the Empire off guard. The first engagement was swift. As the Empire fired their lasers, the human fleet countered with surprising agility. Utilizing warp technology, the human ships danced around the Imperial vessels, evading fire while launching their own precision attacks. Targeting crucial systems, the humans focused on the Empire's engines and weapons, rendering their fleet powerless. The Empire, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies, now found themselves outmaneuvered by a species they had deemed insignificant. As the battles raged on, the Empire's command struggled to regain control. They attempted to regroup their forces, but the humans were relentless. The taunts continued to flow from Earth's ships. "Is that all you've got?" one pilot quipped over the comms, the laughter serving as a psychological weapon against the Empire. The humans reveled in their unexpected advantage, drawing strength from their unity and shared purpose. With every disabled Imperial ship, the momentum shifted further in favor of humanity. The Empire's initial arrogance began to crumble, replaced by a dawning realization that they were no longer the apex predators they believed themselves to be. The once formidable Imperial fleet was reduced to a collection of damaged ships, drifting helplessly in the void of space. The confidence of the Empire was shattered, and the humans showed no signs of relenting. Back in the Empire's command ship, chaos erupted as officers struggled to process the situation. "How can this be happening?" one officer shouted, disbelief etched across his face. They had never encountered a species that fought back with such vigor and skill. The Empire's long-standing belief in their own superiority began to erode, replaced by a sense of urgency and desperation. The humans, sensing victory, pressed their advantage. They communicated through their ships with a newfound clarity, coordinating their attacks with precision. No longer fragmented, the human forces operated as a unified entity, striking the Empire's fleet with calculated efficiency. The laughter that filled their communication channels became a symbol of their resilience, echoing through the cosmos as the Empire's defeat unfolded. As the battle intensified, the Empire attempted to resort to their more destructive weapons, but humanity had anticipated this. Human ships had been equipped with countermeasures specifically designed to neutralize the Empire's most devastating attacks. As the Empire unleashed their full arsenal, the humans activated their defenses, absorbing the onslaught with ease and responding in kind. The tide of battle shifted dramatically, revealing the hidden strength of humanity. The humans launched their own strikes, targeting not only the ships but also the Empire's communications systems, cutting off their ability to coordinate effectively. The Imperial forces, once feared throughout the galaxy, were now disoriented and scrambling for answers. They had assumed that their technological superiority would ensure victory, but it became clear that the humans were playing a different game, one of wit and strategy rather than brute force. The relentless onslaught continued, and the Empire's losses mounted. Human pilots, filled with determination, executed maneuvers that left their Imperial counterparts bewildered. The battle became a showcase of human resilience and creativity, as pilots adapted in real time, exploiting every weakness they could find in the Empire's formation. With every successful maneuver, the humans grew more confident, fueled by the knowledge that they were writing their own destiny. Throughout the chaos, the Empire's ships began to falter. With each passing moment, the humans proved that they were not the weak, defenseless species the Empire had thought them to be. Instead, they had become warriors, united against a common foe, eager to protect their home. The laughter that had started as mockery transformed into cheers of triumph as each successful strike landed against the once mighty fleet. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Galactic Empire was not prepared for this level of resistance. Their previous victories had been achieved through intimidation and overwhelming firepower, but humanity refused to bow. Instead, they showcased their ingenuity, resilience, and fierce determination. The tide had turned, and the Galactic Empire was left reeling from the unexpected backlash of a species they had dismissed as inferior. With the momentum firmly in humanity's favor, the Galactic Empire began to realize that this encounter was far from the easy conquest they had anticipated. Instead, it was a battle that would define their understanding of what it meant to underestimate an adversary. The humans were not just fighting for their survival, they were fighting to prove that they belonged on the cosmic stage, ready to carve their path amid the stars. In the face of overwhelming odds, humanity had chosen to rise. The laughter that once echoed through the void had transformed into the rallying cry of a species ready to reclaim their autonomy and redefine their place in the galaxy. With each passing moment, the Galactic Empire learned a crucial lesson, that the seemingly insignificant can wield immense power when united by purpose and ingenuity. As the battle raged on, The atmosphere aboard the Imperial flagship grew increasingly tense. The once confident officers were now on edge, scrambling to understand how their grand strategy had unraveled so quickly. Desperation seeped into the ranks as reports flooded in of ship after ship falling to the relentless assaults from the human fleet. It was a spectacle of chaos that none could have anticipated, especially not from a species they had considered beneath them. The Empire's tactics, honed over centuries of warfare, were being dismantled by the humans with surprising effectiveness. The reports of each human ship that outmaneuvered and outsmarted their adversaries felt like a punch to the gut. "How can we be losing to these primitives?" one officer shouted in disbelief, his face flushed with frustration. The room was filled with heated arguments, accusations, and panic, a stark contrast to the previous self-assuredness that had characterized their approach to this mission. In the midst of this turmoil, the Imperial commander attempted to reassert control. "We cannot allow ourselves to be defeated by these insignificant beings," he roared, his voice echoing off the metallic walls of the command chamber. "Rally the fleet! We will crush them!" But his words were met with skepticism. Officers exchanged glances, their faith in the Empire's infallibility shaken. The realization dawned that the humans had not only prepared for this confrontation but had also studied their strategies and weaknesses. With every passing moment, the situation grew direr. The Imperial fleet began to lose cohesion, their formations fracturing under the pressure of the human attacks. Ships that had once been feared throughout the galaxy now drifted helplessly, disabled and powerless. The humans took delight in their victories, broadcasting taunts and commentary that served to further demoralize the already beleaguered Imperial forces. "You call this a fight?" came a voice over the comms, laced with amusement. "I've seen toddlers throw a better punch!" In the face of such defiance, the Empire's leadership struggled to maintain morale. Officers were dispatched to rally their comrades, but with every failure, their confidence waned. The reports of destruction piled up: engine failures, weapon systems offline, entire ships captured or destroyed. The Empire had prided itself on being the greatest military force in the galaxy, but the humans had turned the tables, forcing them to confront the very real possibility of defeat. As the human fleet continued its relentless assault, the Empire's desperation led them to consider more drastic measures. Orders for full-scale bombardments were given, intending to obliterate entire regions of Earth in a show of power. However, the humans were ready for this. With their advanced shielding and strategic defense systems, they absorbed the blasts and countered with surgical precision. The humans were not simply defending, they were on the offensive, capitalizing on every opportunity presented to them. "Activate the emergency protocols! We need to retreat!" shouted a lieutenant, panic seeping into his tone. The commander hesitated, the very notion of retreat sending ripples of shame through his pride. They were the Empire, the rulers of the galaxy. How could they flee from a battle against such a lesser species? But as the human ships continued their relentless advance, the pressure mounted. The Imperial command began to fracture. Some officers called for immediate evacuation, while others argued for a last-ditch effort to fight back. "We can't let them win! We must show them the might of the Empire!" one officer yelled, trying to rally the remaining forces. But the resolve of the Imperial fleet was fading fast. Their belief in their own superiority had been thoroughly undermined by the resilience and ingenuity of humanity. Meanwhile, the humans reveled in their newfound strength. They communicated among themselves with enthusiasm, sharing stories of their victories and strategizing for the next phase of battle. "Let's hit them where it hurts! Target their communications!" a pilot suggested, fueled by adrenaline and the thrill of the fight. The humans worked together with a sense of camaraderie that further fueled their determination to succeed. With each successful maneuver against the Imperial fleet, the humans gained more confidence. The Empire's ships, once a symbol of power, now became targets of opportunity. The humans devised new strategies to exploit weaknesses, coordinating their attacks to maximize their impact. Their pilots executed daring maneuvers, darting in and out of the enemy lines, striking with precision and retreating before the Empire could respond. It was a game of cat and mouse, and the humans were proving to be more cunning than the Empire had ever anticipated. The tide of battle continued to shift. As the Imperial forces floundered, word of the humans' resistance spread throughout the fleet. The once feared reputation of the Empire began to erode, replaced by whispers of doubt and uncertainty. "What if they're not the weaklings we thought?" one officer pondered aloud, the question hanging heavy in the air. The realization that they had underestimated their opponents struck fear into the hearts of those who had always believed in the Empire's invincibility. In a desperate attempt to salvage the situation, the Empire attempted to regroup their forces. They sent out distress signals, hoping to call in reinforcements from nearby sectors. But time was not on their side. The humans were relentless, exploiting every moment of vulnerability. The laughter and taunts continued, echoing across the void, a stark reminder of the Empire's failure to crush what they once considered an easy target. The human pilots felt the weight of their victories. They had not only defended their planet but had also turned the tide of a war they had not asked for. The battle transformed from a simple act of survival into a rallying cry for humanity. They were proving to themselves and the galaxy that they were not merely a backwater species. They were warriors, ready to stand up against tyranny and fight for their freedom. The Empire's leadership could no longer deny the reality before them. The numbers spoke for themselves: ships disabled, personnel lost, and a once mighty fleet now reduced to a disorganized mass. The morale that had sustained them began to erode, and a dark cloud of defeat loomed over the command. "This is not how it ends," the commander muttered, but the words held little conviction. The once certain paths to victory were now littered with doubt. As the battle wore on, the Galactic Empire was left to confront the harsh truth: they had underestimated humanity in a way they had never considered possible. The tide had turned, and with each passing moment, it became clear that the human spirit could not be extinguished. The Empire's arrogance had led them to this precipice, and the humans were more than willing to push them over the edge. With every disabled ship and every taunting message, humanity solidified its place in the galaxy. The Galactic Empire's pride was shattered, their forces in disarray, and their reputation tarnished. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear: the age of the Empire was drawing to a close, and humanity was ready to reclaim its destiny among the stars. The retreat of the Galactic Empire's fleet marked a historic moment in the annals of space warfare. As the once mighty ships turned to flee, their pride and confidence crumbled. They had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest but were instead met with fierce resistance from a species they had deemed unworthy of their attention. The human victory echoed throughout the cosmos, leaving a deep imprint on the Empire's reputation. For the first time in centuries, they had been bested by an enemy they had dismissed as inconsequential. In the aftermath of the battle, the remnants of the Imperial fleet limped away from Earth, nursing wounds both physical and psychological. Their ships, once symbols of power and fear, now drifted through the void, battered and humiliated. Officers aboard the flagship exchanged glances, their faces pale with disbelief. "How could we let this happen?" one commander lamented, gripping the console tightly as they charted a course away from the planet. The question hung heavily in the air, a testament to the Empire's failure to recognize the strength and ingenuity of humanity. As the Empire retreated, news of their defeat spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, planets and species long oppressed by the Empire began to stir with newfound hope. Rumors of humanity's unexpected resistance and triumph began to circulate, igniting a spark of rebellion among those who had long suffered under Imperial rule. The story of the humans' cunning tactics and resilience against the Empire resonated deeply, inspiring others to rise up against their oppressors. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was one of celebration and unity. Humanity had banded together, realizing that they were not alone in their struggle. The leaders who had faced the Empire's demands with laughter now stood as symbols of resilience and strength. They understood that this victory was not just about defeating the Empire but about reclaiming their autonomy and asserting their place in the universe. The joy of their triumph filled the air, a tangible reminder that even the most formidable forces could be challenged. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's scientists and military strategists gathered to assess what had transpired. They analyzed the strategies employed during the conflict and documented their advancements. The humans had proven that they possessed technologies that could rival those of the Empire, and they were determined to continue their progress. Plans were made to further enhance their capabilities, ensuring that they would be ready should the Empire or any other threat return. As they celebrated their victory, discussions about the future of humanity began. How could they ensure that they were never caught off guard again? The leaders knew they had to foster a culture of innovation and vigilance. With newfound determination, they invested in research and development, collaborating with the brightest minds from various fields. They set goals to expand their technological reach, ensuring that the next time they faced a formidable foe, they would be ready. Back in the Empire's command center, the mood was starkly different. Officers filed reports detailing the catastrophic failure of the mission, each word a reminder of their arrogance. The once feared Imperial fleet, now reduced to a scattering of damaged ships, returned to their homeworld in disgrace. High-ranking officials were summoned to discuss the implications of their defeat, the atmosphere thick with tension and resentment. The Empire, which had prided itself on its unassailable dominance, was now facing a crisis of confidence. During the emergency meeting, the Empire's leaders realized they could no longer operate under the assumption that they were invincible. They had dismissed humanity as a threat, and in doing so, had opened the door to their own downfall. "We underestimated them," one general admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The acknowledgement was a bitter pill to swallow, but it was a necessary step toward understanding the new reality. The Empire needed to reevaluate its approach and reconsider how it viewed lesser species. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans began to forge alliances with neighboring planets, sharing the story of their triumph against the Empire. They extended offers of cooperation, seeking to unify against the common threat that had once sought to subjugate them. The spirit of camaraderie and resilience spread, igniting movements across the galaxy. As word of Earth's victory circulated, more and more planets began to explore the idea of resistance against the Empire. The Galactic Empire's reputation, once synonymous with fear and dominance, now faced an uphill battle to regain its status. As rebellions began to brew in various corners of the galaxy, the Empire found itself scrambling to quash dissent. They deployed resources to suppress uprisings, but the damage had already been done. The defeat at the hands of humanity had sown seeds of rebellion among those they had long oppressed, igniting a flame of resistance that could not easily be extinguished. Back on Earth, the momentum continued to build. The human leadership recognized that their victory over the Empire was only the beginning. They began to train their military forces, preparing for any future threats while also focusing on building relationships with other species. Their confidence was palpable, and they had established a newfound identity as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. As they gathered for a planetary summit, leaders from various countries united to celebrate their shared victory and discuss the path ahead. "We've shown that we can stand up to tyranny," one leader proclaimed, raising a glass in a toast. The room erupted with cheers as humans celebrated their newfound role on the galactic stage. Their laughter echoed, a clear signal that they would no longer cower in the shadows. Meanwhile, the Empire was left grappling with its own failures. Attempts to quell the rebellion were met with increasing resistance. With every ship that refused to comply, the Empire's grip on power slipped further away. The arrogance that had once characterized their approach was now a source of ridicule among the very subjects they sought to dominate. As Earth forged alliances and strengthened its position, the Galactic Empire faced a harsh truth. They had not only lost the battle but potentially the trust of the galaxy they had ruled with an iron fist. Their reputation for fear was rapidly being replaced by stories of their defeat, and the very foundations of their power began to crack. In the end, the human victory against the Galactic Empire marked a turning point in the history of the galaxy. The battle was not merely a clash of military might but a demonstration of the indomitable human spirit. The story of their triumph would be told for generations, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and resilience could prevail against overwhelming odds. Humanity stood poised to reclaim their place among the stars, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The Galactic Empire would no longer be the unchallenged power in the galaxy. Instead, they would be forced to reckon with the very species they had underestimated, as humanity embraced its role in the cosmic tapestry. The galaxy was vast, and the journey ahead promised to be filled with uncertainty, but one thing was clear: humanity would rise, united and unyielding, ready to defend their home and carve out their destiny among the stars.